Welcome back, everyone. So today I want to talk about collectibles, catalysts, and the new Super Mario Bros. Movie coming out. In the collectibles space, a catalyst can be defined as any person or thing that precipitates an event. Within this world, the event is going to be a shift in the market, either up or down. The catalyst itself can be big or small, broad or general, and depending on the size, the effects can be monstrous or minimal, or affect many collectibles or only a few specific items. An example of a monstrous catalyst would be COVID and the whole lockdowns that took place that caused a shift in macroeconomic conditions that led to almost all collectibles going up across the board. A much smaller catalyst would be an example of a YouTuber creating a video on a specific GameCube game. The video gets 6 million views, and within a month the game triples in price. These are all examples of catalysts that can cause major market movements and affect the price of vintage video games. Which brings us to our topic of the day. A new Super Mario Bros. Movie is slated to be released December 2022. This has the potential to be a massive catalyst in the world of video games because of the vast reach of exposure that the movie is obviously going to have. This is going to be a mainstream movie. Whether it does good or bad, everyone's going to see it. So before you continue to watch this video all the way to the end, which I will be checking on, I just want you to quickly think to yourself what kind of effect this movie might have, or write it down in the comments what you think this movie might do to the price of video games. Because that's what I want to do with this video. I want to get you guys thinking about the idea of catalysts in the collectibles market, and also to consider what something like a movie about video games could do to the market. And the answer very well could be nothing. But let's dive into it a little bit deeper. So if we switch gears over to comic books quick, when a new movie or TV series is announced, it can cause the first appearances of those characters or other key storyline comic books to skyrocket in value. The Marvel Cinematic Universe provided a breath of new life for many comic book characters such as Loki and Hawkeye, as well as affecting long-established favorites like Hulk and Spider-Man, as these movies brought superhero culture back to the forefront of everyone's minds. Vintage Marvel superhero comics saw their prices rise, as well as sealed video games that do feature comic characters as well. To give a more specific example of this, we can look at the comic book Ultimate Fallout 4, which features the first appearance of new Spider-Man, Miles Morales. In 2017, prior to this character exploding in popularity, you could get a nice comic book of Ultimate Fallout 4 for $20 to $30. And then the first movie teaser dropped for Into the Spider-Verse, which saw the price of the book almost double overnight for a nice raw copy of the book. This was the first big catalyst to this character and this book entering into the mainstream. I don't do comics myself, but I have a friend who was able to purchase a large quantity of these comic books back before the first teaser trailer ever dropped. And so prices start to rise for two reasons: speculation and hype. And as you might be thinking, speculation occurs first. With an event like this, a new movie bringing a new character to the spotlight, people already have past examples of this causing vintage books to rise in value, so the immediate mindset is, okay, this is going to cause the first book of this character, Miles Morales, to explode in value, just like we've seen with everything else. This immediately leads to speculative purchasing of the book in question, and depending on the scale and size of the money that decides to start speculating, this in itself can cause a price rise before any kind of organic demand even hits the book. The crazy thing as well is there can be speculation on top of the speculation. Speculators speculate that other speculators are going to target this book for speculation. It's like frickin' speculation inception. So you can see that as soon as this catalyst happens, two waves of buying might already take place before any collector even has a chance to enter into the market. That is how quickly these catalysts can affect things. Buyouts can happen immediately based on new news. Then in 2018, when the movie actually does come out, we see more buying by people who are now hyped up by the movie because it does amazing. We have more speculators, more investors enter who are predicting that this is going to become a movie franchise. Miles Morales is going to be the next big Spider-Man, etc., etc., etc. So we have all the speculation purchasing before the movie ever hits, and then we have potentially another wave that hits when the movie actually does come out. The speculation that occurs first is hoping that the movie that comes out will be as loved as they are hoping. Because say the movie came out and it was terrible, the book would see its value trend downwards unless a new catalyst entered in to make people care about Miles Morales and the new Spider-Man again. In 2019, we had the PS5 game for Miles Morales, and in 2022, we're supposed to have the second Spider-Verse movie come out. So you can see that this character is going to remain very relevant in pop culture, and that maintained relevance is huge when you're looking to speculate, invest, collect something where you're looking for the value to maintain itself into the future. So now we go back to the Mario movie. So we know the Mario movie is going to contain most of the most popular characters from the Nintendo franchise. We know it has an all-star cast of voice actors, and we know the movie is going to be huge. I think we can all agree it's not going to do anything to hurt the value of video games. Even if the movie sucked, I don't exactly see the price of games going down because of that. So the question becomes, is the movie going to drive prices up? And if so, where is it going to drive those prices? So like I said, in comics, it's first appearances or key comics that get targeted. So outside of the most obvious characters, Peach, Mario, Luigi, Bowser, we have Cranky Kong, who first appeared in Super Nintendo Donkey Kong Country, and we have Kamek, who first appeared in Yoshi's Island on Super Nintendo. But do people really want to chase after the first appearances of characters like that? The thing with Nintendo characters is they don't have a whole lot of individualization or development into who they actually are as characters. Mario acts more as a company mascot than he does as an actual individual. And the same goes for Peach, Luigi, Bowser. Obviously the games have done a little bit to develop these characters as their own personalities, but no one really views these characters in the same light as we would Spider-Man or Iron Man, for instance. So as to if people are going to try to target factory sealed versions of Super Mario Bros. On Famicom, NES, or Donkey Kong Country on Super Nintendo, I just don't know if people have that same kind of connection that we see in comics take place. I do actually think that more speculation and hype will take place once we do see a type of teaser trailer for the movie. Because I think it's really going to depend how these characters are depicted in the movies. If people are able to draw more personal connections to the characters of Mario, Peach, Luigi, Bowser, Kamek, Cranky Kong, if they really individualize these characters to where someone can say, yeah, I'm a huge Cranky Kong fan, then I think we could see speculative or even organic purchasing in that kind of area. Or if the movie closely ties itself to a specific console generation and really heavily plays on nostalgia and iconic images and characters throughout. Say the movie makes a ton of references to Super Paper Mario or Mario Kart 64 or Legend of Zelda, even though Link isn't going to be in the movie. Then maybe we could see people go, oh my god, I really want to experience those games again, and we see a wave of purchasing take place on those types of vintage games. Because this movie likely will reignite nostalgia for a lot of people who will want to go back and play a lot of the games, especially if they are heavily depicted in the movie. Now, I don't expect a lot of these people to magically become collectors just because they saw the Mario movie, so the amount of demand or price increase could be very quick and then diminish within the next 6 months to a year. A lot of that speculative purchasing is coming from people already established, not brand new people who are looking to get some nostalgia kick or just enter in as a collector. But this is the type of thought process and thinking that I want you guys to consider when you start looking at the vintage video game market. Even going further into the future, this movie itself might not be a big market mover, but imagine if we got full-length movie franchises of Metroid or of The Legend of Zelda. Imagine if we got live-action series of any of those great franchises. That's the type of stuff that could really push the appeal of those characters and put them into mainstay culture, much like superheroes. And that's when I think we could see huge price action take place on original copies of Legend of Zelda or original copies of Metroid. So it's just something to keep in your mind with where video games could be in the next 10 years. If we have massive movie franchises for a lot of these characters, we are going to have maintained relevance in the pop culture world for a lot of years to come, and I don't see vintage video game collecting going anywhere. Let me know in the comments what you thought about all of this. Even if you don't agree with everything I'm saying, hopefully you at least found it interesting. I'll see you guys next time.